Alright, so this is my top 5 moments of the Ubisoft E3 press announcement for E3 2014. It was hard to figure out which ones I would kind of place because I didn't actually have 5 things initially, I just had 4. And then I had to pick one of my honorable mentions that I thought deserved to be my fifth choice. But it was hard to really rank stuff because some stuff was like, oh, it's cool because it's the first time I've seen it, which is like technically the case with everything. But some stuff we expect, but you're still really excited for it the most, and then other things that's brand new, and that's why it's kind of exciting for you. So this list is, it's subject to change for me. I don't know if it'll change in the future. It depends on what I get to see out of some of the things that were announced at the conference. But I thought it was a great conference. We got to see mostly trailers, but that didn't actually suck to me. Their trailers were amazing this conference, especially the Division and Valiant Hearts. Those were fairly depressing and sad. I was like, this is just sad, but it's an amazing trailer, and those are just some of the things I liked. It was a really good conference. They had Just Dance, which was just like for me meant nothing, but I thought overall they did a really good conference, and these are my top 5 moments. Number 5 is Shape Up, which is the over the top exercise game. And that initially was my honorable mention that eventually became number 5, because when I was looking at it, it was just silly, and we only got to see a couple things. We really only saw the little push up stuff and the Eye of the Tiger piano remix thing. But it looked really cool, and they talked about how you punch asteroids and silly stuff like that. And for people who do want to work out, like that's not really me personally, but for people that do want to work out and you want it to be more entertaining, why not make it into a really fun game and not just a typical exercise game like do this pose or something like that? Make it a silly, over the top video game that makes you exercise, just like how Dance Central technically isn't for exercise, but it's a fun game that people play and it's a great workout for you. So it's cool that well, Ubisoft in general, they finally decided to do this before anyone else did, and I thought it was just really cool. Like I said, we only got to see 2 things, but they mentioned the possibilities, and I'm excited to see what they come up with in the future. I probably won't ever get this game because I don't know if I'll even get a Connect, but what they showed us was cool, and even the recording yourself so you kind of beat your own personal score while you're watching yourself, and you do sort of a versus match against yourself. That's pretty cool, and you can, I guess, download other people's after they record theirs. So that was cool to see too, where even if you're by yourself, you can get a uh, recording of someone else and then challenge their time and beat them or lose to them and then keep trying to beat them. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's a nice step up in the world of exercising in video games. So that was a nice step, and I can't wait to see more of the over the top exercise challenges that they have. I really want to see the asteroids one because for some reason all I thought of was the video game asteroids. Like I'd just be in the center and then I would just punch asteroids. I don't know why. It would probably have to be different from that because it would be a top down view. But I'm excited to see what else comes out for that game. It had me interested, and I know it would help a lot of people who, like I said, actually do try to exercise, and it's like I wish it was more entertaining. And even if they do buy the other exercise games, it's just pose like this or do little things like that. And there are always dynamic things in each of the exercise games, but nothing's like an over the top video game while exercising until this one was announced. So that was my number 5. Number 4, Far Cry 4 opened up the conference. It was really cool to see. Interesting opening, which they said was actually the opening to the game. It was interesting to see that. Love the new area, which I can't think of where it is specifically, but very mountainous type of location. So that should be pretty cool. I feel like there's going to be a lot of snow in the game because typically where there are mountains, there's snow. And the villain seemed interesting. I heard that the villain is kind of a huge part of it, and they're sort of the main focus. It's not even the person that was in the trailer. It's more the villain that is the main character. So that should be interesting to see. But I like the trailer, or I like the opening to the game. It's number 4 because it was just a nice opening. We didn't get to see any gameplay, but based off of Far Cry 3, that's fairly representative of what the game's going to be like. We're gonna have another crazy character like Boss from 3, and it's just going to be fun. They're going to enhance what they did, or pretty much do what they did in 3, in 4, and just have us go crazy and do whatever we want really and just travel around all over the place. So excited for that. That was cool to see. Um, don't know when it comes out. Probably this year, probably early next year, something like that. But excited to see how that one gets even crazier than the last game did. But it had me excited. Number three was the Division, which once again we didn't actually see gameplay from this one, but still an amazing, amazing trailer. It's very, very depressing where it was going through. And initially, I thought it was just gonna go through the time until New York basically decayed. But it started simple like that, and then it went into that specific house where the parents had their daughter, and she got sick and she died, and that was just depressing. And then it like broke up the man and the woman, and she left, and then I guess I don't know if she was actually kidnapped or taken or something. Because at one point the guy says like, "Give me back my family." I don't know if he was talking to like a person or if he was more like yelling at God or something like that. But she was gone and his daughter is dead, and so he kind of lost it and he fought people because they were showing like gunshots come through, which was just done. It was amazingly well done. I thought it was just really cool to watch, and they had the gunshots fly through the door. Then it would show him put like a bookshelf up against it. Then it showed the TV, and the TV was still going. That had me interested. I was like, oh, I was surprised it was even going. And then it cuts off towards the end, and the guy actually ends up killing himself because he can't handle it anymore. And I thought that is just so sad and depressing, but it was an amazing trailer. And then towards the end, we get our couple of characters. I guess the main character is the guy who picked up the man who was getting beat up on the ground, and then we get the woman and the other guy. So they're clearly the main characters. There are probably other people within this division faction or whatever, but it was interesting to see, and I believe that it's um, very close to what the gameplay is going to be based off of what I've already seen. They've shown some stuff where like the character closed the door when he was going past it, so he could just go back and forth, and maybe you can open doors for cover and stuff like that. And if they have those sort of escort missions, you can put a person in there, and they're protected by the back of the car because it just helps stop bullets, and you have the door to protect you while you're fighting back. And they also showed the girl set up a drone, which they showcased when they first announced the game, when they showed gameplay of it, that there's a lot of drone work within this game, so that was to be expected. But it was an amazing trailer, and like I said, even though we didn't get to see more gameplay, which I wish we did, because actually a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of people are not too into that. I personally think it looks amazing. I love all the insane physics that they do have. Of course, as cool as that is, I do want to see more of the gameplay, because it is a lot of teamwork stuff where you go into cover and it's like, hey, can you guys do this? I need you on the drone to hit these people and stuff like that, blind them. But I think that's really just to showcase like, hey, this is something that isn't really done. We have this insane amount of technology where bullets come in, like the trailer or the demo that they gave at the Microsoft conference. When the guy was standing at like the bus stop and the bullets were coming at him, it was hitting the metal board, and you could see where the bullets were hitting, and it would show like little divots like popping out towards the screen because that's where the bullets were hitting. They have that technology, so that's what they're really showing off, that and the teamwork. And the little cool thing they showed when they were in the subway, where it was showing like what happened 11 days before when the train was taking off. I thought that was really cool, and that could probably lead to some other missions, or it could be a part of the main storyline where you have to follow a trail, and it kind of leads to other stuff. But it has me really excited. It was an amazing trailer, so it just got me even more amped up. And also, with it being as sad as it was, it makes me feel like there could be a lot more of an emotional stake in the storyline, and it won't just be a cool dystopian future thing. It'll be like the main character, or at least some of the side characters, lost people that they loved, that we'll get to experience that as we go through the game. And it won't just be a cool action game. It'll be a cool action game that has really serious moments, because people are caught in this virus and they're dying, and you just have to survive. So it had me excited. It also showcased off the fact that aside from the division and the random people who are just going to end up being violent because they want to steal stuff and survive, there are also the quarantine people who quarantine New York, and they're coming in like these people could be infected. Of course they don't. It's one of those things where it's like, we could test, but let's just burn them with flamethrower. So you're gonna have to go up against them as well in the game, and that should be interesting because based off of the tech, with them coming in with a big garbage truck, which I would have to assume is full of humans, and a flamethrower, they're gonna have military technology on it. They're gonna have really high powered weapons. They're gonna have better drone technology than we would have as players. So it was cool. It added a little bit to it. It made me hopeful that at least the story will be really dramatic and sad at points, not just the whole thing's like everyone lost a kid. But it was a really good trailer, and I definitely enjoyed that. It had me really psyched up for the Division coming out, which they said is coming out in the trailer. It said in 2015, so sometime within the year. But that had me really excited. And then number two is Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, when I did my top five Microsoft moments, Assassin's Creed was number one, and it was because it was announced that there was going to be four players. It wasn't just a rehash of old Assassin's Creed stuff. And what I saw, what they showed today, which was really, really smart. I was hoping that they wouldn't just show a demo or show a trailer again. Trailer was also amazing. Every single trailer they showed, just really good. But the trailer was really cool. I liked the original version of that song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That version was also fitting for the trailer, and it was really cool to see the characters go through, and we had our main character, and then we have the other three characters, and they go in and take out people, and they protect each other at the last second, and then they walk up to this guy, and they just leave him so that the revolutionaries can just come in and kill this guy. And it was a great trailer, and then they showed the demo off, and they showed single player in this one because, of course, when they announced it, it was like 4-player co-op. So we got to see single player, which is really cool, and we also got to see, and I mentioned this in my Microsoft video, they had some little moves in that one where he would do like a little spin to get off a ledge or something when it seemed like he could have just dropped down, but he did a spin because they added new mechanics. And in this, we got to see even more of that. He did, like the first thing he did when he jumped off the statue, he did a really far jump down, and he actually caught onto a swinging bar, and he actually swung off of that rather than just landing on it hard and catching it and climbing up. This guy is able to drop down, catch it, and then just swing right off from a high vantage point. So I thought that was really cool. Also, it was amazing to see the little wall run that he did where he ran up the side of the wall when there was nothing there. And he was able to grab onto one of the little hanging ledges, which typically in pretty much every other Assassin's Creed game is like, oh, here's this box, here's a barrel, and here's some other things. And it just happens to lead you up to the little plank that's sticking out from the building. And now we don't need that. We can just, sideways run up the wall and then grab onto a ledge. And that looked really cool. It was just one of the small little features that's going to be amazing to use. And it'll mostly affect the ground level. And it could affect some stuff at higher levels too, of course, because I'm sure there'll be moments where they might pull this off. They might actually put it in where you run across the wall back and forth. They might do that. They might not, because it might seem too ninja-like. But it was really cool, and they could have it where, something's destroyed. With it being the revolution, things are going to be getting destroyed. So you run up, and then there's no footing under you, and you have to jump off and catch something else. I'm sure they'll use that a lot throughout the game, but it was cool to see those little mechanics, and it was nice to see the single player demo. And at the end of the demo, what they did was the player was captured, or the player was found out because he killed the target, and then 3 other people came in, and that's where they ended it. But that really made it seem like it was seamless drop in, drop out gameplay. So that has me very excited. Of course, they didn't really touch on it, but I was hoping that's what it would be like when they initially announced it yesterday. And then we get to see it in the actual conference, and it was like, that's just, they really make it seem that way, where it's seamless and you can just drop in, drop out. Other players join your game, and it's just like boom, or it picks up at a perfect point, like, okay, this big thing happened, and here you go, you can join in. But that seemed really cool, and I loved what they did, because they did this intentionally. But when the guy who was playing the game was going through the demo, they showcased how alive this world is. And one thing that caught me off guard was the fact that there's no loading as far as buildings. He went into a tavern, and it was just like in the other games where you go into a tavern, and you have to load up. In the last game, they didn't have to do that because the taverns were technically just open bars where you just walked up to them because it was sunny. But this is like in an actual city, so it's a building indoors. But he went into this building and it was completely wide open. It wasn't like three where you go through the door and it loads up. You're just inside the building. He jumped through. He could go do this assassin mission for the Brotherhood, or he could just walk downstairs and walk out like he did. And it was just one of the minor details, just like when they showed it before, where you can go into more places than you could in the other games because they have that tech with the PS4 and Xbox One. So that was amazing to see. They also showcased how incredibly dense the world is, not just through the people, but through missions where you come across the gangs fighting each other and you could help out the revolutionaries against the military. You could stop a thief, which is something that's been in there since 2, I believe. So that was old, but they had that, and then he chased that guy, and then he stopped because people were at this door and they were talking, and he turns and walks in, and this woman is like crying over her husband or a man. It could be anyone in their family, and it's like, oh, now I'm just gonna be a detective. I'm the assassin detective, and I can pick up this mission and solve the murder, which was something like Heritage Vengeance or something like that. So it was some sort of family rivalry type thing, and that was really cool. And you just go through the world, and it's like you can help people fight against the army. You can help people solve murders and find out who killed this person, stop thieves, which, like I said, that's an old one, so that's nothing special about that. It's just there. But it was really cool. They had all these different little things, and the guy, the character whose name I can't actually remember, he was going through and he was talking about how he can't help everyone, and it could be because it was sort of a bit of code in the game, like detecting whether or not you walked towards these people or walked away from these people. But it was definitely cool. He was sort of commenting on whether or not he was going to help, and that was just really cool. It was nice to see all those crazy side missions, and also the brutality that's in this game. I think is going to really be upped compared to what Assassin's Creed typically has done, and I got that especially when they showed when the character first got shot, and it seemed like he was shot and blood actually like came down his shirt a little. I thought this game is definitely gonna up the scale on what they do as far as gore, and they even showed a decapitation, which we didn't really get to see because we were up at a high area. But I'm sure a lot of you watching were like, "What would that look like if I was still waiting in the crowd?" And I was wondering, like, could you have saved that person if you killed the guy early? Would that have saved the guy from dying? And most likely it would, because the guy who you have to kill is walking up on stage. You could kill that guy before he even gets there. They'd be a lot more focused on killing you. So I don't know if that could eventually become something dynamic where it's like you save someone from being decapitated and it's just like, I happen to be this amazing person who can get you this or get you that. But it was really cool, and this game's going to be fairly gruesome, which it has to be because it's the revolution. So things aren't going to be simple. As you saw in the Microsoft one, if you watch that, they had heads on pikes. So this one's going to be a bloody Assassin's Creed, but I'm really excited for that. It was a great trailer. I was really glad that they actually showed a demo and we got to see more gameplay, and it actually was the single player stuff, which was to really focus on the fact that they've opened up the world and they have the technology to not have to load to go into a tavern, and they have more missions and you come across stuff because it's the Revolutionary War, so things are going to go insane. But that was really good. And then, of course, before I get to my number one, I have a few honorable mentions. Number one, Crew trailer. That was interesting. The game seems cool. It's an open world racing game where you can literally go across America, and they had a great trailer. Like, I wasn't sure if I should just put all the trailers under honorable mentions because all the trailers really were good. Far Cry was just the opening to the game, but like I said, the Division trailer was amazing. The Assassin's Creed trailer before they even showed the demo, that was really good too. The Crew trailer was good, and that one actually did show in-game footage, so that was really nice, and we got to see a ton of different areas. They went through New York, they went through mountains, they went from somewhere where it was just green all the way up mountains where it turned into snow. but I think it kind of just faded in that way, and it looked like they actually traveled there. But they went through mountains, they went through deserts. It was really nice to see that, and they talked about it and stuff. But the crew trailer was definitely cool for anyone who loves racing games. I don't know how that trailer couldn't excite you when it's like, hey, we're gonna take you from LA to New York, and there's zero load times. That's one of the biggest things. So the trailer for that was really good. And then the second trailer was, of course, Valiant Hearts, yet another really depressing trailer. And that one's about World War I. So that one was really interesting to see. It was, of course, like I said, it was really sad, but it's really interesting to see how that one's gonna play out. And I don't know if you do actually play as just the character who was narrating, which you probably do. It's probably after you've lost all your companions and then you continue through the war. But that was a really sad trailer, but it was really heartfelt, and it was just really, really well done, showing off the characters. And they were all with the dog, and it just kind of ends, and it's really just the last person alive is the guy who's writing the letter, and it's him and the dog. And it's just really sad, but it was a really good trailer, and I just really enjoyed that. And then my number one moment for the Ubisoft press conference was, of course, the new Rainbow Six Siege, and that was just really cool. And that's why it's number one, I guess, because it was announced. It's a new Rainbow Six game, which I didn't realize it had been 6 years since the last one, but apparently it has. And it just looked really cool. It wasn't just the fact that it was a new game. Honestly, any game that has destructible environments always gets me really excited, even if I'm not going to end up buying the game. It's like that with any Battlefield game. It's like, I love looking at that because it's amazing to see games so advanced. But I'm probably never going to buy a Battlefield game. And then the same with Rainbow Six. Although I do like Rainbow Six, I played it. I played the Vegas ones. Those are really fun. It is a more realistic one where you can't really get shot like a bunch of times. It's not like Call of Duty. You get shot like 2 or 3 times, you die, and it makes you tactical, and it's actually really fun. It's done really well. And then they show this multiplayer match that they have, and it looks so nice to see the hostage situation go on like that, and the destructible environments. They're in this house, and they can shoot through the barricades, and they're shooting through the walls and killing each other. It looked unbelievable, and that's why it had me so excited. And it says, like, 5v4 or 4v4, and it counts down until the last two people are left alive, and you have to save the hostage. I thought that was just really cool, the shooting through the house and stuff. And then they had the breach gear where he blew up one of the walls so that he could get over the exercise room, and then he blows open the floor so that he can shoot the guys and drop in and grab the hostage while his partner's coming through the front door. That was amazing to see, and I want to see that game play out with destructible environments, and that's why it has me so excited, because I just love destructible environments, and that'll be amazing in multiplayer. It's kind of like the Battlefield stuff where it's just crazy destructibility, but the one thing about Battlefield is the fact that it is so wide open. That game has so much open space in those multiplayer maps. It's hard to just get a ton of people unless it's a smaller map. And in this, it's just one house, and it has all this destructibility, and it's a really tense situation where it's like, I'm either trying to keep the police from getting this hostage, or we're the police trying to breach in, or we're trying to blow walls open to get to the hostage and stuff like that. So that was definitely my number one moment. It looked amazing. I hope when it comes out, it's not like, yeah, we didn't have the real technology to make it that destructible where you could just shoot through the wall and kill people. That would suck, because that happened before with Battlefield 3, I believe, 3 or 4, where some of the destructibility online didn't actually end up happening. They didn't actually have the tech to pull it off. So hopefully that doesn't happen with this, but definitely has me excited. And I know if it is that well done, we're going to get so many videos where it's just like the wall says hi and then it blows up like a movie or something, because people are going to be silly like that, and you're just going to shoot with shotguns and say hi, and people are going to see that and like, why does this say hi? And then you'll blow up the wall because you think you're cool. But those videos are going to be funny. We're going to get a million of them no matter what. But that definitely had me excited. It was a great press conference, and since I'm so far behind because of stupid work, that's why I'm uploading this now rather than when the press conference actually ended. So I'm excited to go through and see the Sony press conference and whatever Nintendo's doing. I don't know if they're doing a conference or if they're actually doing their Nintendo Direct thing, since they started that last year, or maybe it was the year before. I can't remember, but whatever they do there, of course, I'll definitely check that out too. I hope they do a conference because personally, I find that much more exciting to watch than the Nintendo Direct. But as far as Ubisoft goes, excited for what they have. I didn't mention this, but Assassin's Creed does come out, of course, this year, October 28th. So that makes me a little mad because I'm probably not gonna have the money to get a new console to buy it because it's only for new consoles. They aren't wasting their time on old tech anymore. It's PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, I have to assume, and PC. So excited for everything they have coming out. Can't wait to see more of Far Cry 4 without a doubt. And definitely curious about the shape up thing, even though, like I said, I probably won't buy it. But I'd love to see more of the silly mini games that they have that they put into exercising. But of course, comment below. Let me know what your top 5 moments were, or top 10 if you have 10 moments that you just want to share. And let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me and what you really want to see the most, which would obviously be number 1 in your top 5 or 10. But thanks for watching, and of course, comment below, let me know, and check the description if you want to see my top 5 Microsoft moments and top 5 EA moments from their press conferences as well. Thanks for watching.